I've recently noticed a rise in a certain type of content, and I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page about it. And what I'm specifically referring to is the villain era type content. I'm actually mutuals with at least one or two of these creators, and I just want to put it out there that if I'm like way off base on this, or if I'm like misreading or misunderstanding, please chime in the comments, let me know. I'll be sure to tag y'all. I do think it's really important for young women to be exposed to this type of content, but let's be very clear about one thing. Dealing with men in a villainous way is still centering men. Taking that type of advice literally and not rhetorically will still result in you centering men. The problem with like spending your time being a villain to a man or whatever is that loser men have nothing to lose. That's why we call them losers, okay? People that require you to do like the eye for an eye thing, like giving them a taste of their own medicine, as much as I love all that, as much as I love the idea of like women being as diabolical as men, I support women's rights and women's wrongs and all of that. And again, please correct me if I'm wrong if you're one of these creators, but I do believe that that content is meant to be taken rhetorically. I don't think that these women are out here actually asking or expecting you to like seek out these types of situations, let alone put yourself in these types of situations often. God forbid, like seeking out these types of situations. The most concerning part of anyone taking that type of content quite literally and like running with it and almost like trying to seek out those situations to get their lick back on a man, seeking out situations where you get to show a man what's what and like you get to teach him a lesson, that men are not socialized the same way as women. And oftentimes they really have nothing to lose, especially if they're acting like a villain to you in the first place. They're lying to you, like nagging you, asking to sleep with you before you're ready, all of that. There is absolutely, just remember that women are unalived by men every day for much less, for no reason at all. In fact, some women are unalived because they're doing better than the men in question, and the men in question are jealous and resentful. Women are unalived for being too good, too giving, too kind, because a lot of men's insecurity really knows no bounds. Like when you're dealing with men that are like pushing you towards a villainous arc, remember that like most of the time men will out-villain you. Because again, when we're talking about the men that we're talking about, men that are willing to like nag you, looking for sexual favors after a dinner date, not looking for commitment, spinning plates or whatever, you will not out villain them. While a lot of this content is like very helpful to like reframe our thinking as women when it comes to encouraging the types of realizations that women really need to be having, I just really need you to understand that trying this in real life is not a gamble that I would personally take. If you really do sense like villain vibes from a man, or incel vibes, or nagging, or male superiority vibes, let me just tell you that man is a bigger villain than you. That's a competition that you're gonna lose every single time. Again, nobody loves and enjoys this type of content more than me, the like whole flipping the tables, the hypothetical situation type content. I don't think it's quite meant to be taken literally. And if you do take it literally, just please make sure that you are actually one of God's strongest soldiers and that you are ready to physically protect yourself if need be. Please make sure that these men do not know where you live. Please make sure there's no way they can like find out where you live. Maybe even have like a burner phone for dealing with them. As I say all of that, I hope that it becomes clearer to you why I wouldn't encourage doing this in the first place, because at the point that you're like going out of your way to take a fake persona, like give them a fake name, have a fake phone number, like have a burner phone, all of that is extremely unnecessary energy expenditure just to scratch a very pointless itch. Really not like a whole lot of satisfaction in this. And once again, I understand if you want to do it. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to hopefully help reframe your thinking around this, to that like taking this kind of advice literally is only going to lead you to an even more male-centered life than you possibly had before. In my opinion, if you really want to de-center men, the only answer to that is to center yourself. When you're centering yourself, what you're always doing whenever you're dealing with a man in any capacity is you're asking, how does this benefit me? That's the only question that as women, we really like fail to ask in a lot of situations. So when it comes to this villain era type of content, actually physically applying it, I just want to know, like, how does it benefit a woman to agitate a man who's already not benefiting her. To me, that's like more risk than reward. And honestly, like I said, it's still you putting energy into a ain't shit man, possibly putting yourself at risk of going up against someone that has nothing to lose because they are a loser already. That's just a good question to always be asking, because I think it'll save you a lot of actual trouble. Agitating, lying to, being nonchalant, even like being a man's reckoning, none of that benefits you. Because let me tell you something, these are never the types of men that you are getting tangible benefits from. These are never the types of men that are giving you money. These are never the types of men that are paying your bills. These are never the types of men that are looking for anything but their mother's and father's attention in every woman that they're dealing with. These are not the men that are going to tangibly benefit your life. And neither is going to be like focusing your attention on like getting your lick back. That's like a very pointless endeavor that actually takes you further away from decentering men. If a man is not benefiting you, there's nothing for you to gain. If you can't dig for gold, stop digging. My best advice when it comes to dating is focus on yourself and only deal with men who focus on you as far as making your life easier. If a man is making your life harder, trust me, there's nothing you can do to make his life as difficult as he's going to make yours. You're not going to out-villain a villainous man who has something to prove to his mother. His focus is not on you. His focus is on his mommy issues, and he's trying to use you to solve them. There is really no reason for you to be applying this advice practically. You do need to listen to it. It's the same way that I feel about Shira Seven's advice. Like, would I recommend it practically? No, I would not. But what I do recommend practically is like listening to the way that she speaks about things. I think it's just very helpful to listen to women who flip that double standard, and that's very revolutionary. It's not an accident that we're noticing a rise in this type of content whenever women are existing in a society where they don't have a lot of rights, like where they're oppressed. They start exhibiting more dark triad characteristics. And so know that this is not happening on accident. Know that this type of content is very legitimate and very appropriate for the times. This type of content is meant to get your gears turned, to show you that like men ain't shit. Most men will not be able to psychologically deal with a woman behaving like a villain. Sadly, for most of them, it'll just go over their head. Like, no matter how many times you're like, oh, I'm gonna give him a taste of his own medicine, like, he's not gonna get it. They don't consider you a valuable time, money, or emotional investment. So you need to deal with them accordingly, and you need to not invest your energy into like getting back at them, because that will be you centering men. You need to center yourself, and the best way to center yourself, and actually the best way to hurt that man's feelings, like if you really want to be like a villain in a man's life and you really want him to be affected, the best thing you can do is actually ignore him and not fall for the situationship, the nagging, the broke man behavior, and just cut them off. Like I said, these men are like seeking their mommy's attention. So when you stop giving them attention, that's the thing that really and actually will hurt their feelings, but it will also keep you the safest. Agitating them only gives them something to justify abhorrent behavior. And I would really, really hate to see young women putting themselves in situations like that, because it's frankly dangerous. It's not a win for you in the end. Stay safe out there, y'all. I love you so much, and Godspeed.